on, beautiful people out there? My name is David Worrell. Welcome to the show. If you're watching this at a later time, that's a-okay. It is relevant and ready for you to use. Just watch this all the way through. We're going to be going over a lot of things. The sector, what's hot, what's not. We, of course, have your watch list towards the end of this video. And then, of course, if you stick around and you have a ticker you want me to take a look at, I will be happy to take a peeky gander. Now, we have a lot to go over, so I want to get right into it. We're going to let everybody pile on in here, though. I know it takes a few seconds. We are always getting ready and getting started a little earlier, so come on in. Ladies and gentlemen, make yourself feel free. Yes, bring it up. We're going to kick it up a notch. We're standing at the desk today. We're feeling good. We're looking good, and we're doing a-okay. We are changing some things up. Things are a little bit different. Instead of looking at the S&P 500 today, we're going to look at the NASDAQ, and I'll tell you exactly why. Of course, we are going to talk about rotation, where the rotation went into the last few weeks, where rotation might be going in now, and things, how they are broadening. And then, of course, the biggest change that I'm going to bring up, guys, is how I'm trading. I want to do more of practicing what I preach, okay? A lot of times my biggest fails are over trading, oversizing, and trading the laggers rather than the leaders, right? I see something, I get excited, I get emotional, and I get in and I day trade. I lose money when I day trade. Not all the time, that's why it's so enticing, but I lose money when I day trade. So we are primarily momentum swing traders that look for base and trend breakouts. If you are a part of that crew, then hit that like and subscribe button right now. You don't want to miss what we have in store for you. So today we're going to be looking at the NASDAQ. We're going to start with the NASDAQ. We're going to talk a little bit about the NASDAQ and why I'm kind of making a turn over into the NASDAQ. So we're going to start looking at that NASDAQ 100 very, very soon. Just a couple more minutes, guys, and we're going to get started. I am pumped. I am happy that you guys are here. I think today is going to be a very good day. I think this is going to change the way we do these online meetings. Of course, our Discord meetings, which if you want to join, they're absolutely free. Just click the link tree down below, or Dan will be in here very, very soon to help post some of those link trees. But I do say, guys, if you guys have not been with us for a while, we have been calling out some absolute bangers. Now, you can't say that it's hard to call out a banger, right? Because when you're in an absolute bull market like you guys been seeing, every squirrel finds a nut, right? So I'm not acting like I'm some god that called out these amazing plays. No, we just look for the bull market. Once we identified the stock market trend that we are in, which we have identified, as long as we're above a 21-day moving index in the S&P 500, we are risk on, and so we are risk on. So we are looking at those things. We're ready to rock. We're ready to kick ass. We're ready to take some names. We have a big changes, and I cannot wait to go over all of them. You guys are in the building. We're getting ready to start here in just a minute. I hope you guys are kicking ass and taking names. We have so much to go over, guys. So much to go over, and I'm going to try and do it in 30 minutes. 30 minutes. You think I can do it? I am long-winded. Let me take a breath. Take a little sip, Shawana. I see you guys piling in here. Let's get this baby started, shall we? Erica K, Wooden Bell, Jimmy, B. Stewie, and Yosef have already showed up. They are first, baby, first. You know you'll love that. Let's keep on keeping on. I hope you guys are in for an absolutely amazing show tonight. We have a lot to go over. The NASDAQ, the leaders, and you better believe we got that watch list for you, baby. I am pumped. I hope you guys are pumped too. We have so much to go over. So we're just going to jump right into it. I need to tell you guys exactly why we have these big changes, because I don't want to just lure you on and like make you hold on till the end. We're going to tell you right now. And yes, I use ChatGPT all the time. I'm not embarrassed to show my screen. Listen, when we were going through the ChatGPT and really trying to figure out exactly what we want to trade and how we want to trade them, You guys know that I'm all about the leaders. I'm all about following those leaders. If you're not a leader, then you're a lagger, right? William O'Neill's How to Make Money in Stock. The L is leader or lagger in the CAN SLIM acronym. Leader or lagger. Are you in a leader or are you in a lagging stock? Why do we want to be in leaders? Because the leaders lead. If you get in a lagger and the leader starts to fail, the lagger is going to fail farther and faster. So you want to make sure you are in those leaders. If you are playing those key leaders, you can find a lot of those key leaders in the NASDAQ 100. I'm going to read this verbatim. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. The NASDAQ 100, also known as the NDX, consists of the top non-financial companies listed in the NASDAQ stock market, spanning various sectors. Below is an overview of the NASDAQ 100 stock, sorted by sectors with companies ordered by their market capitalization. So this morning, I had B. Stewie. B. Stewie and I, we've been going back and forth for quite some time. We had like a 20-minute conversation. I couldn't hold back on Friday. I needed somebody to talk to. That's what's great about this community is we always have somebody to talk to, right? So I'm going over and I'm pulling over a lot of these different charts that are out here. And he sends me yesterday morning basically what I'm going to show you today. And I thought it was a great way to kind of utilize ChatGPT to help organize what we are looking at, to help understand and ingest some of what's going on. So I want to do that with you verbatim right now, and we can go over some of these leaders. Now, in the NASDAQ 100, the top moving sector right now is going to be technology. And it's probably going to be technology for quite some time because of AI. So when we look at technology, the top players by market cap are going to be Microsoft, Apple, NVDA, and Alphabet, okay? Now, you might say, well, Dave, we already know the Mag 7 stocks are great, right? Not only are they great, but they got rotation too. They got money thrown back into them, right? So when we see these leaders and the leaders keep on leading, that's why they call them the Mag 7 stocks. So how do you play these? Because you know I've started a 1K account, a challenge, and then I also have the big boy account that I like to trade with too. So we have brought this up. We've made this very, very easy for you. If you guys take a look at my screen, you can see we've printed all this out. Everything that you see on my screen, Dan, Bob, Dan, the greatest moderator alive, has actually posted this in our resource page in our Discord. So you can have this for free, or you can just take a screenshot of your screen right now. But if you wanted to play Google, you can play GGLL or GOOX rather than trying to spend so much damn money on Google, GOOGL. Instead of spending $189, you can just look at your playbook right here. You can look at Google as GGL or GOOX. So if we do GOOL, oh, I'm sorry, guys. let me take another peek here. GGL, excuse me, GGL. There we go, GGLL. Goodness gracious. And this brings up a great example because this is actually on my watch list right here. But you can pay $46 now, and you're actually going to get a much faster moving stock. Okay, so this moves twice as fast as Google. So if we look at Google, and we know Google is a very slower mover, right? Let me just bring it up on here so I don't tell you wrong. So Google moves 2.2%. So this GGLL is actually going to move 4.4%. So that's faster. That's what we want. We want faster, right? Wooden Bell says no lagger. B-Sui says CAN SLIM. Let's go, baby. Yosef says Bitcoin's at 105. We'll definitely be looking at Bitcoin here in a minute because one of my plays that I'm going to bring up for you guys is heavily influenced by Bitcoin. And if you already know what ticker I'm going to bring up, then I want you to put it in the chat because I think there's an elephant in the room right now when it comes to Bitcoin. And I think you guys are really, really going to want to pay attention to this. So back to the NASDAQ though, guys. So we're looking at the overall NASDAQ, right? We're looking at what is in this NASDAQ, what's dominating the area. And you can clearly see the technology, the mega cap leaders, Microsoft, Apple, NVIDIA, Alphabet, they're all kicking ass. Now, semiconductors, I noted to you guys that NVIDIA was kind of backing down as a semiconductor as Broadcom really ramped up and started taking the leadership there. So in the semiconductors, keep an eye on AVGO, AMD, believe it or not, even though it's been beat down, the overall financials show if it starts to create new higher lows, AMD could be one of those runners up. Of course, Qualcomm and Micron Technology, MU. We want to keep an eye on all of these stocks, but we want to find what is most favorable, and then of course what is setting up the trend and base break, right? We always want to continue to look for those trend and base breaks. And Yosef, nail on the head, brother. You're absolutely right, MSTR. MSTR has an absolutely beautiful trend break setting up, and I have a few other trend breaks setting up in leaders that I want you guys to really, really stay focused on. And you know what? I'm trying to, let me see if I can get this chat box looking a little nicer for you guys here. So I'm seeing it. It's on the side. I wonder what you guys are seeing right now. So I'm trying to do some updates for you guys to make sure. Beautiful people out there. My name is David Worrell. Oh, goodness. So I'm supposed to have a chat box over here on the side for you guys to see. It's unfortunate, but I'm going to have to keep tinkering with it, guys. I really am. I'm doing my absolute best to make sure that you guys are able to get the updates. I want you guys to see what I see. You know, I want you guys to see the chat box in the corner here. We're going to keep on. I'll definitely start adding more of that and making sure it works. But I thought I had it, guys. I thought I had it. But yeah, iBet's one to watch, but iBet's just following Bitcoin. So yeah, if you are bullish on Bitcoin, obviously, you're going to be bullish on iBet because it is what moves. Now that Bitcoin's trading at 105,000 right now, you're going to see plays like MSTR. It's already going to take off. And guys, do you remember last week when I drew this out? It's very humorous. We drew this out, right? I showed you after this big pull up, I drew it off of this, right? It came all the way back down. I said this would be the most ideal scenario for this play, and look how well that worked out. Of course, it didn't fill in these gaps as much as I wanted it to. You guys know I like to see gap fills here like this to fill in the spot. But regardless, it found its way. Big bump, pull down, big bump, pull down, big bump. Now it's getting tight. And obviously with Bitcoin being at 105,000, I have a good feeling if MSTR hasn't already broken out in the morning, it's going to break out in the morning at some point in time, okay? So do keep that in mind, of course, unless Bitcoin pulls right back down. But yeah, it's a doozy there, folks. Everybody's watching MSTR, and if you're not already in it, you might be too late, which I know our sweet Jolene is already in it. She's playing MSTU. So keep that in mind, guys. So back to the notion at hand, guys. You know I preach leaders. You know I preach cancel them. You know I always say, if you're going to be in something, at least look over the fundamentals and take a little peeky gander to see what those fundamentals look like, okay, if they make sense. If we look at Google and we scroll down, we can see the fundamentals are constantly going up, right? If we look at DEC, we scroll down, we can see the fundamentals are constantly going up. We want to be in those high beta stocks, those DECs, the apps, the Netflix, the Teslas, the Mag 7 stocks. We want to be in those, and we want to use 2x bull leverage in order to capitalize the most with the least amount of money, okay? So that's what I'm transitioning to in 2025. Now, don't get me wrong, if I see something juicy and I see a nice technical play, well, if I can identify it as a leader or something that is acquiring 25% annually and quarterly on their earnings, you know, and it's starting to shape up. Sure, they're not making money yet, but they are showing that they are steadily paying back and they are steadily growing. That's something that I'm interested in. That's something I want to watch. So while I go through these names, while I go over all of these, if you guys have a stock that you think should be added to my leaders board list, I want you to tell me. We can go over it, okay? If you're wrong, it's okay. Remember, you're a loser unless you're learning, okay? So it's okay to be wrong. But I want you to put some of these out here. I want to have a collaborate. I want to talk. I want to add to my leaders list. I want to have somewhere around 25 stocks that every single day we go over, and you guys already know the 2x leverage. You already know what I'm looking for, base and trend breakouts. You already know you'll be prepared, right, for not a prediction, but a reaction. For example, here's DEC here, okay? DEC has been showing that it is a leader after it had a nice simple base breakout right here, holding a 10-day moving average and now forming a high base breakout right here. okay? So right here around this 207 to 208, this area here, if it breaks out on volume, this is gonna be a tasty little treat to deck the hulls with. So if you look at DECK, deck, if we put an alert right up here around 207.62 is where mine ended up landing, and I get an alert there, that's something I would be interested in taking. Now my question is, and I would love help from the chat, does DECK, DECK, have a 2x leverage? If it does, we'll have Dan Bob add that to our 2x bull leverage list that I just had showed you guys right here. So when we do this, we can look over this. We're going to find the 2x leverage. Then we're going to figure out what the best way to play this is. We want to find proper risk reward, take those plays, and then let it run. Obviously, $206 on a $1,000 account, you're only going to be able to buy 4 shares. With 4 shares, if you're using that low of day, that's 3 times 4, that's $16. Sorry, 3 times 4, 8, 9, 10, 11, that's $12. So that's $12 risk. That would be 1% or close enough to 1% of a $1,000 account. So you could still play DECK, but you're going to use all of your PP, right? If you only have $1,000, you have a very small PP, right? Probably the smallest PP. You go any smaller than 1,000, it's really hard to compound that money, right? So if you have small purchasing power or small PP, then you're going to only be able to buy roughly around 4 shares of this, only risking that 1%, right? You couldn't really risk any more even if you wanted to. What's going on, Zamora? B. Stewie says, please smash that like button. You guys, I don't ask for it very often, but do please take a little peeky gander at my screen right here. If you guys look at my screen, you'll see and scroll down right here, click that like button, smash that like button. And of course, if you find any entertainment or if you just want to help support this awesome community, hit that subscribe button, guys. We're here all the time. We're at least bringing 2 pieces minimum every week out to help keep you guys up to date on what we have going on. All right. So yes, back to the NASDAQ, guys. I feel like I'm doing my best to get through this, guys. So technology, we went over some of the software. Software is like Adobe, Autodesk, Cadence Design System, CDNS. These are all stocks that we want to look through. Now, you guys are familiar with Amazon and Tesla, the retail or e-commerce. Then there's MELI, a little bit slower of a mover. We'll want to find a 2x leverage on that. Entertainment, Netflix. You guys have heard me talking about Netflix ever since Bob Dan called out that beautiful trend breakout. I've been telling you guys for a while now, Netflix is an absolute banger. I mean, you can see it right here. I put a huge arrow so we cannot forget, cannot miss this. This is where I sold out. This I should still be in because it's not closed below a 10-day moving average. I could give you my who, what, when, where's, whys, but now that it's 2025, there's not going to be any excuses, right? I have to take these trades. I have to play these trades. If I see a trade like this in a leader showing technical and fundamental analysis that favors to the bull side, and we're obviously in a stage 2 uptrend and the overall market is in favorable conditions, meaning all my can slim criteria, you better believe I'm taking bigger risk. I'm going to play these stocks and I'm going to play with my maximum amount of risk because I can trust these stocks. I don't want to get into another MDXG like we did in the $1,000 account. There's a reason why we left MDXG high and dry, and that's because it was in a bad sector. Okay, we took enough shares to kill a horse, right? If this thing gapped down, MDGX, I believe it was, MDXG is what it was. If you guys remember, I played this base breakout. We played it, we were in it, we took off half of our shares, and then I took off the last half by the end of the day because I just seen it curling over. MDXG is in a horrible sector right now. So this is why I'm trying to steer clear of these, because this could easily gap down like you've seen here or here. Many, many times this thing has gapped down and has looked like absolute garbage. So we do want to be very mindful that I'm looking for better stocks. And those better stocks are in the NASDAQ 100. And if they haven't been added yet, I'm sure they will be. And if they haven't, we can be on those first, but we want to do our due diligence, okay? Healthcare, AMGN, pharmaceuticals, VRTX, Moderna is going to be your med tech and biopharma leader. Communications, Meta Platforms, and Google. Telecom, Comcast and Charter Communications. Consumer staples is going to be like Pepsi and Modelo's. Household products, Monster Beverage. Industrials is going to be like CSX. Commercial services is Syntax and Copart. Utilities, CEG Energy. I think that's a good one that we might be able to add into our watch list. I don't think it's anything too crazy right now. It's also very cyclical, but the start of last year, I believe it was, we really started to see a lot out of this company. And you can see it's on a very beautiful stage 2 uptrend. It's trending higher. This could be something because energy right now, XLE, is not doing that hot. So CEG might be something we want to keep an eye on, because if it creates another new higher low, then energy starts to turn around. This might be something that we want to pick off. What's going on, Predator? Here watching. Oh man, you're stuck in a bed. Predator, I'm just happy you're here, man. You can't make it on time, so I'm just kidding, bro. Appreciate you being here. I really hope you feel better, man. We love having you in the chat. And it sucks when you're going from one injury or one issue to the next. It makes it tough, man. So I'm here for you. Big shout out to my boy Predator. I hope you get well soon, brother. Okay, so that is my general idea, my thesis behind going into 2025. I plan on looking at better stocks, right? All the greatest traders that I personally follow on Twitter are following these amazing stocks. They're in the best stocks. They're not messing with these garbage stocks, right? Now, don't get me wrong. If we have something that we want to keep an eye on, something that we think is looking just too juicy to pass up, we can. But I'm probably going to paper trade those. I really want to focus only on the leaders, only on the best stocks, but we can still speculate. I still love to speculate. I'm just not going to take those trades. Okay, so that is my 2025 outlook on the NASDAQ, using the stocks that are in the NASDAQ, but also using the 2x leverage so we can make the most money. Dan Bob says PLTR gets added December 23rd to the S&P 500. Hell yeah. And MSTR also is getting added to the NASDAQ, actually. So very cool. So now we're going to go over my list. Okay. Now keep in mind, when we go over this list, there are 3 trades, maybe possibly 4, but I think one takes a little bit more time. There's going to be 3 main trades though. Okay. So as we go through these, if you guys have a stock that you want me to take a peeky gander at and you think it's a leader, let me know that you think this is a leader that we're going to take a look at. If not, say this is just a speculative stock, throw the ticker out there and I might bash you on it a little bit, but hey, it's okay because you're a loser unless you're learning, right? We're all learning here. All right, so we're going to start with the NASDAQ. And as you guys can see, we are clearly above a 21-day moving average. We're clearly above a 10-day moving average. We are a little extended off that 10-day moving average, but that doesn't mean we can't get our beautiful sideways trading action to let the rest of the stocks catch up. Let's see what's out there that might be setting up that might go against the grain. Now, APP, this thing has shown that it was an absolute leader the past couple of months. You can see since October, it broke off this base breakout down here and has headed much higher, much faster. App has absolutely shown and proved itself as a clear leader in this overall market. So we're going to keep an eye on it. Now that it's pulling back to the 21-day moving average, if it holds this 21-day moving average and shows support here, this might be a very, very clear sign that it could go higher. Okay, so we're going to watch it here. If it starts to break down, maybe the 50-day moving average, or maybe it fills this gap. I don't know. But right now, App is a leader. It's one that we are going to watch, but it's not one that is set up and ready for me to get in just yet. Netflix is still holding that 10-day moving average. I don't see a play here, guys. I'm not playing trends that look like this or like this. I'm playing trends that look like this. This is absolutely picture perfect. This is 100%. If you don't understand trender-based breakouts, go through my swing trading school. It's absolutely free. We teach this right here. when we were teaching this, this is what I would have used as a perfect prime example, and I will from now on, because this is in the Mag 7. It is a leader in the market. It has everything that I would need to want to go full risk on, maybe risking 3R on this trade. And sure enough, I did risk, and I made quite a bit of money on this trade. But this damn pullback, I even told my wife, I'm selling on emotion. I don't want to lose any more money. I like where my account's sitting. And sure enough, I could have made twice the amount. But hey, that's why we need to follow our rules, people. Next up is Tesla. Oh, we're keeping Netflix on the watch list. There is no play here. It's too extended. Let's say this thing trades sideways. Dare I draw a little thing here? It just trades sideways like this, and then it breaks out of a base top at 950. You know, maybe it uses 950. All speculation, have no idea, but we'll take a little peeky gander next week to see where Netflix is, because we want to see if it does end up setting up, okay? Now, of course, I have to take a quick minute on Tesla here, guys. You guys know I did stick to my rules on this. I did not sell out. We are waiting until it closes below a 10-day moving average. And sure enough, we called out this 360 base breakout in the Discord. It was probably one of the best callouts I've had close into November, December area. This is probably one of the best, because this base breakout has been happening over and over and over again. It's really nice to see it working, because this is my area. This is my niche, trend and base breakouts. This is a high, tight base. This is one of my favorite, where it holds a very clear base, and every time it comes up, it gets sold off, but creates new higher lows. When this thing broke out, I did not doubt myself. I went right into the 2X bull Tesla, TSLA, and I'm holding on to this. Now, I know a lot of you guys sold on this day here when I took half. A lot of you guys sold this day here when it pulled back. Zamora, I know you ended up selling here. And now that I'm locked in, I don't have to worry about this. I can let this thing run. It's a carefree trade. You know, it's very, very nice to actually be in something like that. I can just bring the trade up here for you guys so you can see it really quick. TSLA. Okay, so here's where I got in the green line. The red is my new stop loss, which is just there just to be there, but it's the 10-day moving average. We're currently on this last half of these shares. We're up about $330. So nothing too crazy, but definitely enough to buy me lunch tomorrow. So I will survive. I will definitely survive. Okay, next up is Apple. So if there is any bullish argument, and I see you, Yosef, we're going to go through bros and docs right after I get through these for sure. So thank you for putting that in there. Dan Bob says Netflix is doing a stock split soon. Very, very cool. It's very nice to see. AI UC base. We'll take a look at AI2 as well. We're going to get through these, my leaders here first, and then we're going to go back through and we'll definitely look at bros. I think bros is a leader personally, so I'm glad that you brought that up. And docs, yeah, DocuSign, we'll definitely take a peeky gander at that as well. So if you guys had, or I'm sorry, Apple, APPL, if you guys had any doubt or any inclination in your mind that we are not in a bull market, when the Apple, the biggest, best stock in the overall market, okay, the boat hits new all-time highs and then just continues to rip, that's the biggest bullish sign you can have out there, guys. So Apple, new all-time highs, creating new all-time highs, just created a new all-time high on Wednesday last week. So that's absolutely amazing to see for Apple. Is there a play here? No, there's not a play here. I cannot make any money trying to play this right now, simply because it's not setting up. We don't have a base. We don't have a trend. There's nothing that I can do in this situation to try and play this, right? It's too extended. If I got in here and it pulled back to the 10-day, I'm probably going to stop out, right? If it gaps down, I'm probably going to stop out. I have more ways to stop out than I do to make money when it's extended like this, okay? Now, if I want to get lucky and get in and let it rip tater chip, then hey, I'm getting lucky. I don't like to play that way. I want to react. I'm going to let this thing come back down and retest its breakout area around 237, or it will set up a base or a trend breakout for me in the very near future. And then, of course, we can use Apple's AAPU, AAPB, or AAPX for those 2 and 3x leverage on Apple because Apple's a slower mover, right? But if you play the 2x leverage, you're gonna make some money playing these stocks. So keep in mind, I don't have a play on Apple, but it looks really, really good right here. Meta also breaking out here. It looks absolutely amazing. This is what I like about these retests. We broke out of this simple base breakout, the same damn breakout I pointed out to you on Tesla. Look at this. It is the same breakout here that happened to Meta right here. Okay, same thing that happened to Meta right here. These base breakouts are working, so you need to identify these and you need to stay focused on these. Now look, this thing is coming back right here to that $600 area, and it's going to retest it. That's my opinion. It might hold this 10-day, but I think it's going to retest this breakout area, and if it does and it shows proper price action, this might be a play, but it's not the play that I'm talking about. VST, big pullback here. I do believe that it is a leader in the overall market. We're going to see if it wants to continue to hold here. This is in the electric utilities, and if you guys don't remember, utilities was doing very, very well, especially with the overall sentiment towards cutting those rates. When rates get cut, those big utilities, they start to save a little money rather than spending it all on interest rates. Okay, they have very big projects that they pull all the money out for. They borrow all this money. When interest rates start to get slashed, they start to save a lot of money on those projects. Next up is Microsoft. If you guys don't know what Microsoft is, you're living under a rock. This thing's a beast, and it's doing really, really well. I really like keeping an eye on it here, but as you guys know, there's no play here. There's nothing I can do here. It broke out of this base, right? But I don't see a trend. This isn't really the cleanest base to break out of, but it's above all of its moving averages. If it can hold and continue higher, I think this thing can definitely see new all-time highs. And if we do get it breaking that 468 area, that'll be a simple base breakout, and I'd much rather take it there than anywhere else, okay? Next is Amazon. This big boat, this retail shipper right here is leading its pack. Another simple base breakout with a retest. You guys see why I like those retests? You know, it breaks out here. So you can get a little piece in. Why not take a little piece out? This is 2020, right? Hindsight's 2020. As it pulls back here, though, that's when I like to try and load the boat. It's one of the hardest plays that you can do because it looks like it's not holding this breakout. It looks kind of scary. It looks famished, like it's going to head lower. But if it holds and it starts to create that curl, that could be a nice area to get into. It's also trying to hold that 21-day moving average. So I like Amazon. SE, I have my alert set. I am waiting so damn patiently for SE. I like the way it looks. Another simple base breakout. So I lied to you guys. I have 4 stocks on this watch list. Okay, 4 stocks. This one's a little bit more expensive. Where I want to take it is around that 117, 118 area. When it breaks out of this spot, that's where my alert's set. And if it does it on higher than average volume, you better believe I want to be a part of that. I'll take this in the big boy account or the small or the 1K challenge account. Either way, I really like the way this stock looks. And if I can get a piece of this risking previous day or risking these lows here, this 111, either way, I'm seeing proper risk reward for this trade. I'm seeing a leader. I'm seeing that it has good fundamentals. It's in retail trade, which is very, very hot right now. If you guys don't have SE on your watch list, I highly suggest you putting that on your watch list. Of course, we have PLTR. Dan, Bob, Dan, the Gritz Monitor Lab did bring up PLTR. It's being introduced into the S&P 500 very, very soon. He said sometime late November, December 23rd, it's getting added. So that's really cool. Now, what I really like about PLTR is it is a leader. And I was telling you guys on this day here, I don't want to see this thing continue to just ramp up and go skyrocket, because if it does, we're getting blow off tops. We want to see a steady trend. We want to see a pullback, and it did. It started to go higher, but it did pull back. So it's still riding the 10-day, a little extended in my opinion, but I think PLTR is looking good. Is it a buy right here? Not for me. This PLTR needs to form a base for over a week or two before I can even consider buying something like this because I'm going to get in and it's going to do one of these. Okay, so let's find proper risk reward on PLTR before we try to take a trade. AVGO, if you guys weren't with us, we are doing earnings. We have done Lululemons. We have done AVGO. We have done NVIDIA's. We're doing all of these, and it's so amazing to watch some of these. AVGO did a huge gap up. I was telling you guys how this thing was extremely prime because what is it? Another basing top right here. Another basing top, guys. And it broke out. It was primed. It was ready to rock. Of course, you couldn't take it before the earnings because I consider that a gamble. But if you did, and I even said, I even said to you guys, you know, if I'm a gambling man, if I was a gambling man, this is something I might take. Dan Bob says 100, not 500. Yeah, so it's oh, the S&P 100. Oh, excuse me. Thank you, Dan Bob. I appreciate that. Yeah, very cool. Very, very cool. So the PLTR is getting introduced in the S&P 100, not 500. Thank you for that. So AVGO, we talked about this. We talked about, because of the gap up, the 1 minute opening range breakout. And if you guys don't know what that is, I'm just going to mark it out for you. I said, Dan Bob and I were talking in the morning. We said about the 1 minute opening range breakout, meaning here is the 1 minute opening range. This is where you would buy, and this is where you would sell if you were to play this. So I'll just mark this out for you guys. So this is red. This is green. Okay. And if we zoom out, because it gapped up, on the first minute, it shows you where you should get in, where you should exit. So now you have proper risk reward. And look, you get in here and you would have held on to this. You would have only been out of the money in this for a very short brief as it retested its breakout area. And now look, this thing continued to head higher. So that 1 minute opening range breakout did work. It was a great idea that we had in the morning. I was not watching it. I was actually distracted by a few of the stocks that I was already in. And then AVGO did its thing, but we did call the 1 minute opening range breakout. So congratulations to anybody that took it. We were talking about DEC earlier. We're going to bring up DEC again. I think DEC is a leader in this overall market. It's Decker Outdoors Corporation. Again, I don't know if this has a 2x bold leverage or not, but I like this high, tight base right here. Just like the simple base breakout here, only now this time it's formed another smaller base at this 206 area. If this thing wants to break out on higher than average volume, I wouldn't mind getting a small few shares just to kind of ride this trend to the north side as it may continue higher and hold that 10-day moving average. Okay. Now I've already told you guys about SE. This is one of my top watches. This top tight base, if it breaks out here, this could really pose as just an absolute monster of a push higher. Okay. What about ONDS stocks? I'm assuming you're probably saying bond stocks. Maybe you can Chaz Snowden, if you maybe you could or articulate a little bit more on that question. Okay, so Google, I think Google needs plenty of more time, guys. Plenty of more time, but you got to understand, this is setting up a beautiful simple base breakout, and Google has came out with some amazing news lately. If you guys aren't aware of it, they're working on a new chip. I think it's called Willow. And the Willow chip is like a AI computer processor, but it's not like the chips that we're doing now. It's for quantum computing. Okay, so they just brought it up. They started talking about all these, and it was absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing, some of the stuff that they're doing. I just downloaded the new updated version of Gemini on my Google Pixel, so I'm checking out that. But they're doing a lot of things, guys. They're doing a lot of things. I really like to see Google thrive because I feel like they've almost been behind in this AI race. So I feel like things are starting to pick up now. And I think if it can hold this area, I'm waiting. It's extended from the 10-day moving average. But if it, say it pulls back down here, I'll just draw a little bit of what I'm expecting. Let's say it pulls back down here and does something like this before it breaks out. And why that? Why do I like that? Because that would form a beautiful, beautiful cup and handle. Okay, and we could even measure it to see if this is the original or if this meets William O'Neill's specs. So we need at least 13 to 30%. And right there, we're within 29%. So there's your cup. This will form the handle unless it decides to take off without us, folks. But yes, this is forming a beautiful cup, possible handle, and you don't want to miss this AI. You don't want to miss this AI race. So pick your poison, baby, because I have a feeling that this thing is just getting started, to be quite honest. And then, of course, yes, we have MSTR. Yosef, you are correct. MSTR, but with Bitcoin doing its thing, guys, with Bitcoin where it's at right now, this thing might gap up and go without us in the morning. But that's sometimes what you have to do as a trader. You just have to say, hey, this thing's gonna shit and get, I'm gonna sit on my butt, sit on my hands so I don't start clicking buttons, or do like B Stewie does and put a thumbtack on his on his mouse button so he can't click buy. But MSTR, absolutely banger of a stock. We made a ton of money on this. If you guys remember, I identified this as an early trend breakout. We got in using MSTU, the 2x bull leverage. Made a couple of $1,000s just on this push up here. I mean, this was absolutely beautiful. I can't remember what it was. 57% we made in about 3 days, cutting all of our shares up here at the top because I was saying it's looking parabolic. We didn't like it. A lot of us actually sold out. A lot of us made a lot of money on this. And then it broke away from Bitcoin back here. And it hasn't been following Bitcoin much, but just trading sideways. Now, if Bitcoin does gap up, which if we look at Bitcoin right now, you guys will see here that it is sitting at 104,738. We want to see this thing come back down to this $100,000 area. So that way we don't get a gap up in the morning, and we might actually be able to get in an MSTR before it takes off. What up, Robert? It's good to see you, brother. Robert Tanch in the building. Manuel Seldivar. Manny, what's up, Manny? Good to see you. Any sentiment on the upstart, UPST? Yeah, we could take a look at UPST. We got one more stock I want to go over here, guys. You're going to really like the look of this because you know I like my trends. You know I like my base breakouts. We have ASAN. Look at this high, tight flag. Very high, very tight, and I like it a lot. We're right at some resistance in this resistance area, but I really think if we break out above this 205, we might see a new push, a new start of a stage true uptrend of ASAN. That's what I like to see. So another thing, what I do is I'm clicking on the earnings. I'm seeing we're getting a 70% surprise on the earnings, and its revenue, a 1.79% surprise. If I just look over the overall earnings, if I look at the annual, you can see they are absolutely doing amazing. Hand over fist revenue. They're just dialing it in, making 150 million each year more than the previous year. So this is what we want to see. We want to see net going up. We want to see revenue going higher. We want to see that they're growing, and ASAN looks like it's just getting started here. So this might be the end of its stage one, its start of its stage two, with volume. Don't mind the volume here, now drying up. If this thing takes off, ASAN I want to be a big part of, and it's only 24.15. So if you're in the 1K account challenge with me, this might be absolutely amazing for that 1K account challenge. It really, really could. So pay attention to ASAN. Now we're going to go through some of the stocks that you guys brought up. I hope I do a good job doing the analysis and really determining whether it is a leader or a lagger. So let's start with Yosef's BROS. So BROS. Now, I've been following Bros for quite some time. I did not expect, I'm pretty sure this is a coffee company. Let me just read this, guys. Dutch Bros engages in operations and franchises drive-through shops on the focus of handcrafted beverages as it operates through the company-operated shops. Okay, so they're a franchise. They're a franchise. I thought it was just coffee. It's handcrafted beverages, whatever that may be, whether it's coffee or iced cappuccinos or whatever. Bros is doing very, very good. They are in, what is this, retail? Let me see here. Consumers non-durable or food specialty items. So this thing had a big bump up on its earnings. Obviously, earnings catalyst, a double beat, 38 on its earnings and 4% on its revenue. This thing held very, very well. We're waiting for a trend or a base breakout up here. I don't mind adding this to our leaders list. We can do deeper dives and remove some, but we're gonna put Bros on here. I like the way it's looking. The last, the estimate in February didn't look too good, but as of right now, its most recent earnings percentage changes have been doing very well for itself. So we're going to keep an eye on Bros. I like it, but I don't like it as a play right now, right? It looks like it's starting to exit a stage 1, enter a stage 2. We have 3 new higher lows, but where am I going to get into this thing? I'm not sure. So we're going to put it on the watch list. We're going to sit back, relax, and let it tell us when we want to get in. DOCS, so this I believe is DocuSign if I remember. No, this is Doximity. All right, so Doximity. So Doximity on first glance looks like it is an earner annually and quarterly. It could do a little better quarterly, but it's still doing its thing. You could consider this one for leadership in the fundamentals area. Also, another one leaving at stage 1 and starting what looks to be a stage 2, a confirmed stage 2 uptrend. So yes, DOCS, another beautiful one. This might be one that we would want to get into eventually as well, but a lot of these stocks are starting to look similar. We want to see a trend or a base breakout form before we get in it, just kind of like we're seeing with SE, right? So if we were only looking at SE right in this area, we wouldn't want to play it here. We wouldn't want to play it here. We're waiting for something. This, clear basing at the top. If DOCS can do something similar, and I just paint it like this for you, and it does this basing top at 55, just, you know, throwing something out there, I think we might have a play. So we'll see very soon if DOCS ends up being something that we want to play. Let's carry on. IBM. So IBM, International Business Machines Corporation. Look at this beautiful cup and handle that we have forming right here. I need to see IBM. So IBM is a slow mover at 2%. So we're going to have to see if we can find ourselves a 2 or 3x leverage on IBM. But I do like this look, this beautiful cup and handle. You can see it's almost written out for you. Let me see if I can do this. I want to measure this here. Measure the base, so 13, so very close to not being identifiable as a cup, but that's beautiful. We have a cup, we have a handle, and if this thing starts to break out, you're going to want to take it somewhere right around that 237 if you're finding proper risk management and this lines up for your process. So I really like the look of IBM. You know what? I'm going to add IBM to our leaderboard, and I will look a little deeper into it because just like I have Netflix on here, NVIDIA. I have NVIDIA on here. At least I thought I did. We're going to add NVIDIA. Even though NVIDIA is no longer a leader, we're going to want to keep an eye on these. Okay, so we're going to keep an eye on NVIDIA to ensure that we have at least some eyes on it. Okay, so that's IBM. I like it. Thank you for pointing that out, Dan Bob. That's a good one. Manny is talking about UPST. So I don't like the business model of UPST. I don't. But it does not matter what I think, right? It's what the price action's telling us. And right now, UPST and Affirm are killing it. Of course, with their quarterly, it's showing that they're having profit margins, and yearly, they're not really showing that they're capable of maintaining those. But as of right now, this is showing just so much strength. Obviously, coming out of a stage 1 into a stage 2 now and showing a simple basing breakout area. It looks a little extended here for me. What I personally would want to see with this is more time, because I can't get into it right now. I might have been able to get into it right here at this 82, maybe even around that 80.36. But now that it's already past here, I can't do anything with it. The best thing I can hope for is if it did something like this and got tight right underneath that 86 again, and then broke out after letting the 10 and 21 day moving average catch up to it. So we'll see very, very soon what happens with UPST. I can't add this to a leader right now, but I do want to keep a very close eye on it. So maybe we add this. I'm going to hold off on UPST. I'm going to hold off on this just because I just don't like UPST. So I'm going to hold it off on adding it to the leaders, but I do like it. SGHC, so SGHC, nice high and tight. You got a base up here at the top. Of course, if we look at just looking at a quick glance of the earnings, there's not enough here. There's not enough here to tell me whether or not I really like this, whether it's a leader or not. But I mean, you can't really argue with the price action here. This is what I don't like. When I see a stock like this and I see something like this where it just falls off, you know, it just looks gross like that. That right there tells me that we have some issues with this stock. There's some underlying issues with this stock, and then I might want to be careful. But if I'm just looking at this area, I would say stage 1, clear stage 2 with new higher lows, and this thing has a very clear base at this $7. So if it breaks above that $7, that might be something that you want to keep an eye on. And yeah, so UPST, it's going to follow UPST and Affirm. They're pretty close to the same, but I will say I like Affirm's high type flag better than I like UPST. Even though UPST does look like it's, yeah, that's hard. I don't know. I feel like I like Affirm's better just because it's more of a clear base right here at this top at 72 rather than UPST. But yeah, UPST and Affirm, they're going to move pretty hand in hand. I believe it was UPST that started the move, so I'm going to consider UPST as its leader, but Affirm also was lagging, and now it looks like they're kind of like head to head right now. Okay, so that's what I have for you guys. My number one main watches are going to be SE, it's going to be Google, it's going to be MSTR if for some amazing reason I can get in the morning before it takes off, and then ASAN. Those are my main watches. They don't have to be yours, but I'm telling you guys, I want to watch the leaders, and I want you guys to watch the leaders with me so that way we can be on top of this. I would not have made this much money this year if it wasn't for people like you pointing out things like Dan Bob pointed out, this Netflix trade. This was one of my best trades this year. You know, of course, the way I handled it, I could have handled it a lot better, but this is one of my best trades this year, okay? So if you guys can get behind that, being momentum, swing traders, finding the best stocks that are out there, putting your capital to work and making money, hit that like, hit that subscribe button. We're doing this every Sunday. We're going to meet up here every Sunday like we have been for the past, 2 years, 3 years, okay? We're meeting up here, and what are we doing? We're going over, we're reviewing. We're going to add to these leaders list. We're going to go over the stocks. You figure out which ones you think are the best that you want to follow, that you want to trade, and I will be here, right here, rooting for you. Okay? I know trading's hard, guys. That's why we have a community. You're more than welcome to join. It's absolutely free. Check out our Discord in the link tree down below. Make sure you check out our Facebook group too, Swing Trader Strategies. That Facebook group, no spam, no garbage, and it's hard to find that on Facebook. Anytime I open it up, there's always some great piece of information that I can take a look at on Swing Trader Strategies on Facebook. So make sure you add us there. So thank you guys so much. I really appreciate you. Manny says, great channel. Dude, I really appreciate that. Sajil says, bro, what's your thoughts on mRNA? We can look at mRNA. So you got to understand mRNA is in the health technology and biotech. So as of right now, XLV is your health technology. You can see it's one of the worst sectors right now. So when we look at mRNA, the first thing you have to understand is 1, it's not in a good sector. 2, it's below a 200-day moving average and it's declining. Okay. So when I look at mRNA, I think this thing has a lot of proving to do, okay? A lot of people will look at mRNA and say, look, this thing was as high as almost $500 at one time, and now it's sitting at 41. It's gotta be a steal. Well, they were saying the same thing down here at 72 and 160, and now look, it's at 41. So my thoughts on mRNA is that it needs to show that it's coming out of a stage 1, that it's not gonna just trade sideways, but it's actually forming new higher lows and starting to head higher. Almost like it started to do here. It formed a new higher low, a base, and broke out here. This is what I'm looking for. This is absolutely beautiful for mRNA. We would have made money and we would have stopped out after it closed below a 10-day moving average, netting ourselves a beautiful 26% move. But down here, you might get in, you might get lucky, but this low of 35, that's not a lot of support. So I do not like mRNA. I'm looking for those leaders. This is trending down. Microsoft, Amazon, PLTR, AVGO, these are all trending higher and they're all strong names. So I hope you can understand that. I hope you can get behind that, brother. Manny, was it Manny who brought that up? No, Sadril. I can't say it. Sarhil? Either way, I appreciate you being here, and I hope I give you a good enough analysis, brother. Oh, man. So let's see what else. I appreciate you saying that, Manny. Thank you so much. Bad news. B. Stewie, thanks for watching. Please hit that like and subscribe button. B. Stewie, thank you so much, man. I appreciate you being here. You guys, I hope you guys have an awesome night. I hope you like what I'm doing here. We're trying to bring the leaders. We're trying to bring the best of the best stocks to you. One thing I absolutely hate hearing is when we're in an absolute bull market that some of you guys are having a hard time trading. Now, the last couple of weeks with the sector rotation into the Mag 7 stocks, it's going to be a little harder. We are going to have a little bit more of a difficult time when we're trying to play these, when you start to see those rotations. But never give up, folks. If you have to, reduce the share size. Follow proper risk management. Know what you are trading and make sure you read How to Make Money in Stocks by William O'Neill. Can Slim, baby. Let's follow the quarterly earnings. Let's follow the annually earnings. Let's see what kind of new products that are bringing to the market. You know, what direction is the overall market going in? Is this something that we want to buy? Are we going to be proud to buy this? So many questions, so little time. I hope you guys enjoy the new outlook. I hope you are ready for 2025. I know I am. I think it's going to be a golden age. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate you being with me. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe. We'll see you guys very, very soon. Have a good night. So, if you made it this far, you're the real one. Jimmy Bright, thank you so much for being here. Predator, you're amazing. I hope you get better soon, dude. I hate seeing you in the hospital. B. Stewie, thank you. No, thank you. Manny, thank you for swinging by. I really appreciate you being here, and thank you for the awesome comment, brother. It makes me feel great. Sadril, thank you so much for stopping in. Appreciate you. Dan, Bob, Dan, the greatest moderator alive. I don't know how many times I have to say it, but I'll say it till I'm blue in the face. Thank you, Dan, Bob. Robert Tainch, as always, thank you for stopping in and saying hi. Chase Snowden, if you're still here, thank you, brother. Yosef, as always, I appreciate everything that you put in our chat, dude. You always bring some amazing tickers and some good thoughts my way, so thank you for that. Zamora, as always, thank you so much for being with us. Erica K, always in the building. Thank you so much. Wooden Bell, thank you so much for stopping in. And I hope everybody has an amazing night. Thank you guys so much. We'll see you on Wednesday. If I don't see you in the morning, I'll be here in the morning in the Discord. Join up, guys. We'll see you then. Peace.